Okay, CFP this week. I think the Notre Dame and Penn State game is the more intriguing one to me. Mm-hmm. And I'm not knocking Ohio State and Texas. I think that's going to be a really good game. And I would not be surprised if that one be – Ohio State hasn't played a close game yet. This one will be close. Yeah. Because Texas will slow them down. And I think those are the two best rosters in the country. And it just depends on who plays better. Will Howard has not beaten Texas in his life.
I was thinking about that earlier. All of the struggles
This is his fourth time playing against Texas. His fourth time. And I know that what he would feel like if he finally did shake that burnt orange monkey off his back.
Especially at AT&T, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, that would be a big deal for him. I wonder about Notre Dame and Penn State because they're very, very similar. Mm-hmm. If you told me that game was 20-17, that's where I feel like it's going to live.
Right.
Good, really good defenses.
I like Notre Dame in that matchup. I think that Riley Leonard.
They have a better coach.
Yeah, they have a better coach. Marcus Freeman's a freaking dude, man. Like just watching what he's been able to take that program and where Brian Kelly is at right now. Anyway, I'll get lost on that. But Notre Dame, I think I like them in that matchup. I like Riley Leonard. Honestly, I think if a game was on the line, he would be the quarterback I would take out of the four left. Like if I had one final drive, I would want Riley Leonard. To do that. He's not the most talented, but he's gutsy. I'm still kind of concerned if I'm Penn State on Abdul Carter, like his arm and shoulder. Is he going to be able to play if he does come back? How healthy will he be? And that's something where I think as we continue to see this go on, people need to be open to the fact that you're going to see a lot more games down the stretch, these big games where you're not going to have your full rosters or your stars available just because the attrition is going to catch up to them. But at the end of the day, I see that going back and forth. I like Notre Dame to win it and play for the national championship. I just don't know that they have the horses to beat or hang with Ohio State or Texas, whoever they get in that matchup.
Yeah. I think whoever wins the Ohio State-Texas game is going to be favored in the championship.
Correct.
I'll think about that game when I know the actual matchup. Like I think we do too much wish casting and for like, do you really think? I think we've probably learned our lesson. This like, do you really think this would happen? I really have no idea.
Anything's possible.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't.
I have no idea. It's going to be way more like the NFL.
Yeah,
and you know, I'm not a conspiracy theory guy, as you know, but I do buy a little bit into the Chiefs not only played their backups, but told their backups not to go real hard. Because if you were picking Bo Nix or Joe Burrow to put in the playoffs, I would put Bo
Nix. Yeah.
I would put Bo Nix, who may be a little bit afraid of me, in the playoffs if I have to see them again, as opposed to Joe Burrow, who I know for sure, the only quarterback on the planet I know for sure is not afraid of the Chiefs is Joe Burrow. The rest of them might be a little. Even Josh Allen, he might be a little spooked. I don't think he is, but for sure I know it's Joe Burrow. And the one who like gets it like a real high out of sticking it to us is Joe Burrow. If I can keep him out of the playoffs, I'm keeping him out of the playoffs.
Absolutely.
I'm doing that. So I don't want you guys to give lax effort, but don't be sad if you don't catch that 3rd and 7 pass.
Yeah.
If Carson Wentz overthrows you, it's fine.
See, that's why I tried watching yesterday, but a lot of those games just felt like preseason. I was like, I'm not watching
now,
this
did
crap.
you watch the Cowboys?
Man, I watched probably the first. Well, no, I watched I watched Washington. I watched Washington for about the first 3 drives, and I was like, I can't watch this product.
No, I said, hey, look, it was fun at the end. You missed the best part at the end. Yeah, for you. I say it was fun at the end for me because I was like, the Cowboys going to start Trey Lance in the last game of the season and haul off and win and cost themselves 4 draft spots.
I do not like that. Yeah, it was just frustrating.
But what
do you make of the Texas Ohio State game?
I think it's going to be close. I think Ohio State wins because they're just hot right now. But I mean, I don't know. Like Texas just the game against Arizona State. I don't know why everybody's so surprised that it went the way it did.
Because they didn't watch Arizona State.
Or they didn't watch Texas.
Yeah.
That's almost how all their games kind of went. Like after the midpoint of the season, they did not have a here we are, we're going to destroy you type of game.
No.
They just had we have better dudes than you, and it plays off in the end.
And it bit them against Georgia.
Texas wins with, as long as it's not Georgia.
As long as they couldn't match you athlete for athlete,
Yeah. Texas, which Ohio State can.
They will.
So Texas wins with good coaching and depth.
Yep.
They don't win with, and really Ohio State's the only one in this entire playoff who has consistently won with like razzle dazzle. And that wasn't the case for them for a stretch either. So I don't know. I mean, like right now they're just hot. Everything's kicking on all cylinders. Ryan Day's coaching loose. So I'm leaning Ohio State right now, but Texas just has a way of like the only game I ever felt they were truly out of this year was the first game against Georgia, and they found a way to make that one interesting for a little bit.
Right.
So that was their kind of hazing when it came to the SEC. And then the second Georgia game, I still think they should have won, but they didn't. So Georgia's just a bad matchup for them. I think this game's coming down to the last 5 minutes, no matter what happens. And we'll just see, because Texas, again, if you looked at their season, it's bordering on great, but they've not done anything that is 05 Texas-ish, where you're like, whoa, get out of the way. Like they're not that intimidating, but I don't think anyone really is. So because of that, like, yeah, they're not perfect, but guess what? They win.
Yeah.
So let's stop trying to like make everybody perfect. Let's just see who wins the game. That's the problem with college football. At the end of the NFL season, no matter who wins the Super Bowl, we talk about how great a run they had.
Right.
What a great run. Holy cow. And then people start comparing like, what if the 75 this and 2000, you do that. But that's never going to happen, so you don't have to worry about it. But man, it's just about who wins it, not about how, like, there's not a it's kind of like when you graduate from college, nobody asks about your GPA.
Right.
Like if you win the Super Bowl, nobody asks about your GPA. They don't ask like, oh, but they didn't have to, like, you'll see some people who just can't deal with the fact that this team won, like, oh, well, this team beat this team before.
Like if Penn State were to win this year, their path was,
Yeah. Penn State, but here's the deal. If James Franklin turns around and wins 3 games in the playoff,
give him some credit.
Or wins 4 games, guess what? He's finally done what we've been telling him to do. Win games against teams that are ranked, that are equal to you. Don't lose big games. Then he's finally done it. We have to kind of back off him a little bit. I mean, he'll still continue to be a little bit annoying, but same with Ryan Day. If they win it, you got to back off. You know, not every, like, Steve Sarkisian to Marcus, it's very funny because you've got 2 very unlikable coaches in Ryan Day and James Franklin in this thing. There's not anything about their personality that unless you're, and even if you're a fan of Ohio State, you're never going to love Ryan Day.
You're not going to like them,
I do think that Penn State fans really, really do like James Franklin, but I do think they're kind of,
they're in pain.
They're like, hey, you know, like 10-2 every year is great, but can we please, like, do this at the end of the year? You know? Because there becomes some confetti. Can we see confetti?
Right.
We want confetti in Happy Valley. That's what we want. But the other 2 coaches, Marcus Freeman and Steve Sarkisian, are ridiculously likable. And Steve Sarkisian went through a period where he wasn't, and then he's rebounded. I really like Sark. I like Sark a lot. We've met him a couple times. I really do like him. He's genuinely likable. Marcus Freeman, never met him, but I can tell you I probably would like him. He's very likable. He's very easy to get behind, which is funny because I do think that if Texas and Notre Dame are playing in the national championship game, there's going to be a lot of people who've been college football fans for a long time. They're like, please kill me now.
Yeah.
Please kill me now. I don't want to see either of these teams be able to say how great they were. They're like, all the way back to 1945. We've been so good.
I'm going to be honest. If it came down to that matchup, I don't like either program. I would have to ride with Notre Dame because I just need to see it. Like, I was, 3 when they won? Like, so I've never seen it.
Look, I haven't been to Mass in a minute. If Notre Dame wins, I'll go to Mass. I'll tell you that right now. I'm very much a lapsed Catholic. I'm not ashamed to admit that. I'm a lapsed Catholic, but if Notre Dame wins over Texas, I probably owe the big guy a trip. Right. Even though I'm one who doesn't believe that he cares about that stuff. Like, why would you fix famine? Like, famine's hard, man, but I can kind of focus on a couple games at a time. Omnipotence is really, really, it burns a lot of calories. You don't have a lot of energy. All right, that's going to do it for us today.